السلام عليكم جوليا، صباح الخير.
السلام عليكم.
كيف حالك؟
جيدة، وأنتِ؟
أنا جيدة شكرا. اليوم we'll try to go over the vocabulary for Unit 3, just a review, and then articulate the sounds. Then we'll try to form sentences using the same vocabulary in Unit 3. So Unit 3 is going to be page 61 from Alif Baa textbook. الله. تفضلي.
and
جميل.
hijab, veil or hijab.
جيد. تفضلي.
Base, house.
جيد. تفضلي.
شارع, street.
جميل.
واجب, homework.
ممتاز. تفضلي.
واجب, واجبات.
جميل. So we have the long vowel here. So we have واجبات. واجبات.
واجبات.
جميل. And then we have خبر. I'll make this خبر. خبر. جميل. And then جمع خبر هو
أخبار.
جيد. جميل. أخبار. جيد. ممتاز. ثم now the new ones, I'll try to put a different color. So the new ones are كتاب. We learned that before. ما معنى كتاب؟ جوليا تفضلي.
book.
جيد. And then I'll give you the plural, since we did the plural for واجبات and أخبار. كتاب and then كتب. كتب. So we have كتاب, كتب. كتاب, كتب. أعيدي من فضلك.
كتب.
جيد. ممتاز. So if we're trying to say the same word we learned for easy or difficult, let's write them again. Easy and difficult بالعربي ما معنى؟ سهل. جيد.
Difficult is
صعب.
جميل.
So سهل, صعب. We have another one. If we were trying to describe kitab in English, what do we usually describe it as? So we're trying to say maybe a boring, long.
The long or short.
Okay, so we can use long, and long would be طويل. طويل. And short would be qa. Go ahead.
Oh, I said Oscar, but that's small, not really short.
Correct. So صغير is small in size, but قصير is short in length. So قصير. قصير. So if we're trying to say short books, what do you think we're going to do to the adjectives?
كتاب صغير.
Okay. So we say كتاب.
كتاب قصير.
ممتاز. One book. كتاب قصير. كتاب قصير. But here we're trying to say books. What are we doing? How are we going to write that?
كتب.
ممتاز.
قصيرة.
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 I'll write that differently. So I didn't write enough space. Here we go. So we're going to do كتب. كتب قصيرة. Every time we have plural nouns, we use the singular form of the adjective. So here we have سهل. I'll put the short cases on them. And then if you may read them. يلا تفضلي.
سهل. صغير.
مرة أخرى.
صغير.
صعب.
صعب. أنا آسفة. Sorry. صعب. صعب.
وتالي next one.
طويل.
جيد.
قصير.
ممتاز. جميل. So سهل صعب طويل قصير. سهل easy صعب difficult or hard, and then طويل long طو, and then قصير short. And if anyone is still learning how to trace, it would be really good to start tracing adjectives and use one of Unit 3 nouns like bait. And if we're saying bait, we don't have to describe it as سهل صعب طويل قصير. We can use the adjective you said initially, which was, remember that one you said for small?
صغير.
ممتاز. So we can use صغير to describe bait. صغير, and the opposite of صغير is كبير. So بيت كبير, شارع كبير. We can say شارع طويل, long streets. شارع قصير. So we can use that as well. So for the translation, صغير, small, كبير, big. جميل. كتاب قصير, كتب قصيرة, كتب قصيرة. جميل. So we have a few more words. We'll try to put them all on one page. The word حبيبي أو حبيبتي.
حبيبي.
حبيبي. And one more time.
حبيبي or حبيبتي.
ممتاز. حبيبتي. I'll put the short cases. حبيبي, حبيبتي. حبيبي, حبيبتي. What does that mean? ما معنى هذه الكلمات?
That's like my dear darling.
جميل. So بالعامية, in some other dialects, في العامية هي dialect. It's very popular for people to call each other, hey dear, أهلا حبيبتي أو حبيبتي. But not in all dialects that's popular. So if people are addressing others formally, I think it's better to stay away from calling them Habibi and Habibati initially, unless they know the person as a friend, and then they've encountered or they've met many times. And then family members can call Habibi, Habibati. And of course, this is also used between the two genders. The other one is صباح الخير. صباح. ممتاز. I'll try to write the ha away from the alif, that way it doesn't connect. صباح الخير. If I say صباح الخير لك يا جوليا ماذا تقولين؟ ما هو الجواب؟
صباح الخير.
ممتاز. صباح الخير. You can say صباح الخير again, or you can respond by saying صباح النور. With the Arab tradition, it's quite interesting. When someone greets you, the other person tries to give you a better greeting. So you say good morning, they say, oh, an enlightened morning. And nur is light. Nur. And you can find that in names. Nur means light. Khair. Khair means goodness. Khair, Noor, and these are really pretty names. Sometimes when people want to be more supportive of each other, they would say be, like for the verb to be. Kun khayran, be filled with goodness, or be a good person, or be the cause of goodness. Kun khayran. Kun khayran, or they would say kun nuran, be a light. So kun khayran, kun nuran. يلا أعيدي من فضلك هذه العبارات.
صباح الخير. صباح النور.
جميل جدا. صباح الخير. صباح النور. صباح الخير. If you're asking you're greeting your friend, and your female friend, what would you tell her using one of these words?
صباح النور حبيبتي.
جميل. صباح النور حبيبتي. And you can address the person by their name as well. صباح النور حبيبتي جوليا, حبيبتي ماما, أو حبيبتي, and then the person's name. جميل جدا. الكلمة الأخرى هي let's do it right. We can have a new page for it. كيف. ما معنى كيف؟
How.
ممتاز. جميل. كيف. كيف حالك؟ أعيدي من فضلك.
كيف حالك؟
جميل جدا. So I'll write كيف again, because sometimes when I write it, the fa comes different. But when you're writing fast, you could also kind of loop the fa, but it has to be very small, not as big as the other letters. So كيف حالك أو كيف الحال. How is it going? كيف الحال. أعيدي من فضلك.
كيف الحال.
جيد. الحال. الحال literally means the state, like your state. الحال. Some people would say كيف الحال. الحال بخير. The state is okay. Good. الحال بخير. أو أنا بخير. الحال, it means the state, someone's state, somebody's state of mind. The other one we have is ما هو الجواب. What would be الجواب, the answer?
جيد أو جيدة.
جميل. جيد أو جيدة. So جيد, جيد أو جيدة. What's the other one we could say?
بخير.
ممتاز. And بخير doesn't take any gender. So you just say بخير, whether you're male or female. جيد does take the gender. أنا جيدة. أعيدي جوليا.
أنا جيدة.
ممتاز. جميل. And أنا. أعيدي من فضلك.
أنا بخير.
ممتاز. جميل جميل. Then the other word we have is هذا. هذا ما معنى هذا؟
This.
ممتاز جميل. وهذه.
For feminine.
ممتاز جميل. If we're trying to use a Unit 3 vocab or one of the nouns, which one would you use for هذا or with هذا?
هذا بيت.
ممتاز. And then for هذه?
هذه سيارة.
ممتاز جميل. But remember what we said about plurals, the plural words we learned? They can also take feminine, even with this. So if you're trying to say this homework and you're referring to plural homework, what would you say?
هذا جوابات.
مرة أخرى حاولي.
هذا.
Okay.
هذا وجوابات.
So for saying one, هذا واجب. هذا واجب. But for saying many, هذه واجبات. And you can also use كتاب here. هذا كتاب. And then here you would say هذه كتب. هذا هذه. So مرة أخرى أعيدي من فضلك.
هذه.
ممتاز. في الجملة
هذا واجب or هذا كتاب.
جميل.
هذه وجوابات or هذه كتب.
واجبات. واجبات. أعيدي.
واجبات.
جميل جدا. I'm gonna tell you a very fun fact about the word واجبات. You're gonna like it. We have واجبات. The moment you don't pronounce the alif, you end up saying meals. One long vowel can change homework to a meal. This is like the English joke is like why did the student finish his homework early? Because it was a piece of cake, right? That was one of the jokes my son keeps telling me. But it's wajibat, this one, instead of wajibat. Okay, so here I'm gonna have you pronounce the meals and then pronounce the homework.
So meals, wajibat, and then homework, wajibat.
I heard homework both.
Oh, okay. Meal, wajibat.
So see the little, I'll highlight the one. Wajah, wajah. Here I'll write it. Wajabat.
Wajibat.
And the other one you have to stress on the jim with kasra. The difference is just fatha and kasra, and of course the long vowel.
Wajibat.
Jameel. So wajibat is what?
Is homework.
جيد. And wajabat?
Meals.
ممتاز. Alright, now that we said wajabat, let's get the singular form of wajabat is wajba. وجبة
وجبة
وجبة. مرة أخرى أعيدي.
وجبة.
جميل جدا. وجبة وجبة. جيد جيد. We have two, actually one more word, and then we can practice the sentences all together. The other word we have is ليس, and that's a very fun word. Do you remember what ليس means?
Not.
Not. And ليس does it take feminine and masculine as well?
No.
نعم جميل. So هي تأخذ مؤنث ومذكر. So ليس. يلا اسمعي هذه الجملة. استمعي لهذه الجملة. لهذه الجملة. هذا البيت ليس صغير. هذا البيت ليس صغير. ما معنى هذا؟
This house is not small.
جميل جدا. يلا استمعي لهذه الجملة أو الجملة الثانية. هذه الواجبات ليست I'll write the word here. ليست صعبة. هذه الواجبات ليست صعبة. ما معنى هذا؟ تفضلي جوليا.
This homework is not hard.
جميل. So because we're using homework as a feminine plural, we're saying ليست feminine. And the masculine is ليس. ليس. There are different forms that the negation takes, and I can give you, let's see, let's say you're trying to say something like, this is not my name. What would you say?
هذا اسم هذا ليس اسم.
ممتاز. جميل جميل. So I'll write it here. هذا ليس اسمي. ممتاز. جميل. Let's say yeah, you're trying to say this book is not difficult.
هذا كتاب ليس صعب.
ممتاز. جميل. I'm going to highlight something really important here. See how I said هذا here and هذه here? Look what happened to the noun next to it. It took alif lam.
So why do we add the definite article here?
We add the definite article because we are identifying the object by saying this. It's like you're capitalizing the word. So you're identifying it. هذا البيت. This house, you're being specific. But if you're saying this is a big house, هذا بيت كبير, you don't have to define it because you're just giving a statement. this is a big house. But here you're identifying the difference about this house. هذا البيت, this house is not small. So you're being very specific in your statement. So that's why you identify after هذا البيت when you have additional information to give a different meaning. So here I can say هذا ليس اسمي. You are identifying the word, the ism, see? By saying my. If you're saying this name isn't mine, then it would be هذا الاسم ليس اسمي. Because you're saying this name. I'll write it down for you, that way you can see it. عفوا. So if you're saying هذا الاسم, you're doing الاسم, this name. See? هذا الاسم ليس, and then you're saying it isn't my name. هذا الاسم ليس اسمي. See how we identify? Okay, جميل. So the other one we said was هذا الكتاب ليس صعب. Let me write it down. هذا الكتاب ليس صعب. ما معنى هذا الكتاب ليس صعب؟
This book is not hard.
ممتاز. هذا الكتاب. You see how I'm identifying it? هذا الكتاب ليس صعب. هذا الكتاب ليس صعب. If you're saying this is an easy book, what would you say here? This is an easy book.
هذا كتاب this is an easy book. Okay.
No, this is an easy book. It's easy, I mean. But you're saying an.
هذا كتاب أسهل.
Easiest, that's أسهل, but we can say هذا كتاب سهل.
سهل.
جميل. هذا كتاب سهل. If you say أسهل, it's the easiest. So هذا كتاب سهل. Right here, you're not identifying anything because you're just making a normal statement, just basic statement. هذا كتاب سهل. But here, you're being very specific because you're adding new identification. This book is not difficult. And it means the same thing, right? One is identified, one isn't identified. جميل يا Julia?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take a moment, and how about you form your own sentences, and you can give me 2 sentences and I'll write them down. So جملتين. اكتبي جملتين بمفردات جديدة. اكتبي جملتين بمفردات جديدة. So right here, اكتبي جملتين بمفردات جديدة. And I'm addressing female. اكتبي أنتِ 2 sentences with new vocabulary. So go ahead, Julia, تفضلي. ما هي الجملة الأولى؟
هذه سيارة ليس سيارة.
هذه مرة أخرى.
هذه سيارة ليس سريع.
ممتاز. هذه سيارة. هذه سيارة. ماذا قلتي؟ ليس أو ليست؟
ليس.
سيارة مؤنث أم مذكر؟ مؤنث. مؤنث، عفوا. مؤنث. مذكر masculine. So هي مؤنث صحيح؟ أوكي. هذه سيارة ليست ماذا؟ سريع أو سريعة؟ سريعة. جميل جدا. So هذه we're saying this هذه feminine. سيارة feminine. ليست feminine and سريعة feminine. ممتاز جميل جدا. الجملة هذه الجملة الأولى. الجملة الثانية.
I had another one but it was male.
Yeah, تفضلي. نعم.
Oh.
So here I am only أكتبي as I'm only addressing you as a female student. So I'm asking you to write any two sentences. Could be masculine or feminine. يلا تفضلي.
هذا الصف ليس صعب.
ممتاز جميل. هذا الصف and we're using ليس صعب. ممتاز جميل. هذا الصف ليس صعب. هذا الصف ليس صعب. يلا اقرأي الجملتين.
هذه السيارة ليست سريعة. And then هذا الصف ليس صعب.
ممتاز. We're missing one thing in one of these sentences. Look at both of them and tell me which one is missing a very important identification.
The L in the سيارة.
جميل جدا. Because we are given, remember what we said? We're given information. So we're saying this car هذه السيارة and we're stressing هذا الصف ليس صعب. جميل جدا. As you can see, let me highlight it differently. That way you remember this part. When it comes to definite, it has to happen before the noun when you're using هذا and هذه and you're given additional information or you're affirming something. جيد؟ جيد يا جوليا؟
نعم.
شكرا جزيلا. So that'll be all for today's review and inshallah we'll see you next time. Assalamu alaikum.